Today I want to show you guys how you can actually generate an additional $500 per day just using Google search ads. And this is actually a new strategy that I kind of have implemented into my e-commerce marketing strategy. And Google ads is actually something that I've been using lately to help me generate around 2k plus a day in sales. And yeah, we have been running Google ads on our store for around 2 months right now. This is like I think it's our second or third month running just purely Google ads, and we are generating anywhere from 2 to 3k a day just by using search ads and also mainly shopping ads. Okay, so I found that with the right product, with the right keywords, Google search ads is definitely something that can actually help you generate a lot of sales in your business. And here's a really cool story. Okay, I have one friend who is just running Google ads with his business. I'm not too exactly sure of the details, but I do know that he's making a freaking killing just with Google ads. Okay, and I think he told me like 50% of the sales that he generate from his business comes from search ads, whereas for me it's just around like 10 to 20%. So for every single business is different. But I believe that if you are trying to grow a business, your e-commerce empire, it's gonna be very valuable for you to actually be looking into Google search ads and using that as one of your vehicle to generate quality traffic to your business. And one of the reasons why I love Google ads is because, for one, you don't really deal with Facebook bans, and also for two, you can get very laser targeted traffic. But the only downside of using Google is just that it's very limited in terms of like the keywords, because like the people who are gonna be visiting a website, they are only gonna be able to find a website through the keywords that they search on Google, which means that if they're not searching, then you'll be able to show your ad to those people. But having said that, I still feel like Google is a very massively undertapped platform right now, especially in 2021, and it's only gonna get better and bigger. So it's probably like best for you to actually hop on this gold mine right now and figure out how this little machine is capable of helping you generate sales. So I'm gonna just get right into the video, and I have some really exciting lesson that I want to share with you guys from the past 4 to 5 months of using Google ads. Okay, so in this video I want to share like a couple things. Firstly I want to share what you need to know before running Google ads, like some really simple tips, especially if you're new, you have no experience, and you want to start getting on this trend and you want to start generating income for yourself. I think it's going to be very helpful for you. How to set up your search campaigns. I'm actually going to be going inside my Google ads dashboard and showing you guys like the exact step-by-step settings, so that if you're new, it's like really easy to follow. And I'll also be explaining like the reason why I'll be selecting certain settings over the other, and things that I've tried out from other YouTube tutorials that I perhaps like, or perhaps even things that I don't agree with other YouTubers. I want to kind of like just share with you guys like my authentic strategy for what I'm doing in my business, and things I've tested that have worked and not worked for myself. Okay, thirdly, I'll be talking about like how I actually find keywords, because the way Google search campaign works is you're only gonna be limited towards the kind of keywords that are using in your business, which means if you have really good keywords, then that's great. If your keywords have like if you're selling like a mouse, for example, right, you got like a lot of people searching for a particular keyword, then you're gonna be able to get a lot of traffic to your website. But whether it's quality or not, it's gonna be dependent on the kind of keywords that you use associated with the product. And I'm gonna be sharing with you guys like how I find converting keywords for myself, what I do to test and stuff like that. And lastly, how to actually write your ads. And in a way, this is actually really simple. I found that with e-commerce in general, if you're selling like a low to mid ticket product, your ads are somewhat important. But especially your ad copy, I found that if you're running Facebook ads, it actually doesn't really affect performance that much, and with Google, not exactly that much as well. But there are some like basic guidelines that you need to follow in order to get like a high converting CTRs and CPC. Okay, so let's get right into it. So before you start running Google ads, I'm assuming that right now you have no freaking clue as to what to do and how to actually start doing. So firstly, you gotta have like a product that you want to advertise, like a niche that you want to tap into, right? So you gotta already have like a Shopify website set up. If you don't have, then you can go and search on Google how to set that up, how to start e-commerce in 2021. It's not that difficult, to be honest. You can set up like a new store within a day. You can have your ads running within like 2 to 3 days. Okay, secondly, you obviously need a Google ads account. And here's the cool thing, right? I don't know what country you're from, but in Singapore, where I'm from, For whoever who want to run Google ads, Google actually give us like $100 free coupon voucher, which means that every single account that we open, we have like $100 free credit. This means that your first $100 in ad spend is practically free. Google is covering up for you, and if you are new with a low budget, it's just really a great way to start. Thirdly, which is the most troublesome thing ever, when you're trying to run Google ads, a lot of headache, right? Is setting up your Google tracking conversion tracking pixel. With Google tracking conversion pixel, you need to have one for your website, which kind of like tracks all the movement in the website. Another one just tracking the events, which is like the purchase, the add to cart, mostly purchase. Okay, so for this one, the way I actually set up my conversion pixel, because I currently I would during times when I need a website developer, I would actually go on Fiverr to look for one. That's definitely something that you can do for yourself. But actually, I also started when I first started out, I was using this app on Shopify, where they were charging me $7.99 every single month to actually to actually be using their app, where they can integrate Google Ads for me for free. Not for free. I mean they will integrate the tracking pixel on my website, the conversion. They help me get the conversion tracking pixel, and everything will just be syncing correctly with my Google Ads account. But I paid like $8 every single month, which is actually not the best way to do it. But in order to set up your conversion tracking pixel, I believe if you're someone with no website development experience, it's best for you to contact like a Fiverr seller on Fiverr. Maybe you can get it done for like at the most like $15 to $20, or maybe like $5 to $10, depending on the kind of seller that you reach out to. But this one you definitely gotta figure out. I'm not gonna cover into this video, and let's get right into the next point. So when it comes to, okay, let me see. Yeah, so before we actually go into finding keywords, right, I didn't actually create a slide for this. I want to show you guys the kind of settings that I use for myself when I'm setting up like a new Google search ad campaign. Okay, so firstly we gotta have our product, right? And for this particular tutorial, I'm just gonna use this very simple frying pot as an example. So let's imagine that we are actually gonna be selling this particular product that you're seeing over here. Okay, it's a 4-hole frying pot. So the first thing that I'll do, when I'm creating, when you're going inside Google Ads campaign, you're gonna see something like this. Okay, it's this is how like the interface looks like. And you click on apply icon, click on new campaign, and then you click on sales. But honestly, it doesn't really matter. You can click on sales. You can create a campaign without a goals guidance, but normally I just click on sales. And then you click on search, because today we're just gonna be focusing on search campaigns. And then this one, it doesn't really matter. Click on continue. And this is the part where I'm gonna be explaining to you guys like the different settings, how to set up the ad groups and stuff, where I think is actually the most important. Okay, so for the campaign name, right, I mean, you just want to name it however it is easy for you to kind of recognize, right? So if you're selling this, you can call it like a 4-hole frying pan, SKAG, which means like a single keyword ad group campaign, SKAG campaign. We can call it like test as well, because we're testing this product. Honestly, it doesn't really matter, because we're just actually we're just using this to recognize our campaign. For the search network, we want to include Google search partners, but we don't want to include display network, because with display network, right, basically Google is just gonna show ad all over the web, and you're gonna get a lot of unqualified traffic. So we don't want that for our business. We want really highly targeted traffic, especially if you're just running Google search campaigns, because you want people who are going to your website to purchase a product. You don't want people to go on your website to just kind of like look at the product you're selling, because those people are not qualified buyers. You want to get qualified people on your website, so we're just gonna be using search network. Okay, another day we'll be talking about display network. So when it comes to the start and end date, I normally like to kind of set it on the next day, so that I have like a full 24 hours to just run my ads. To be honest, I don't know if this actually affect the results, but I just been doing this because I do this for my Facebook ad campaign. So I thought, like, why not just do it for my Google Ads campaign? It just makes sense. That's a very good reason. And then we're gonna go down here for the locations. Here is where it gets a little bit interesting. Okay, for me, right, nowadays when I'm advertising, everyone do things differently. But for me, I like to pick the top 4 countries, the top 4 big countries, which is basically United States, Australia. I don't target United Kingdom nowadays because you have to pay the value added taxes, which are just like you have to set them up, and it's just kind of like a headache, to be honest. So these are the top 4 countries that I target, and the ad spend is probably gonna go up after making this video. But anyway, I normally just start with the top 4 countries. You can start with like United States, with Canada. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. Canada. I'm Chinese, by the way, so forgive me. Canada, yeah, right. So top 4 countries, and then so this is where it gets fun. Okay, when I click on location options, and for this target part, right, I always like to choose the presence. Okay, so with this, what's happening is if you are clicking on the presence of interest, this means that people who are not in the country that you have targeted are still gonna be seeing the ad if they are interested in the country. So like someone from China may be searching for United States, right? Oklahoma City, for example, like some Chinese dude in China, and then all of a sudden you're showing your ad to him just because he searched for United States. And you don't want those kind of people. You want people who are in the country that they are targeting for. Okay, so those people that you are targeting, they gotta be in the United States. That's the only way that you want your business to go. And we're gonna exclude presence as well, and this one doesn't really matter, to be honest. Language your customers speak gotta be English, otherwise unless you're writing like some Arab language, which is probably not the case. Okay, we're just gonna stick with English. And for the select audiences, we are gonna not mess with this. We don't have to do anything about this. So when it comes to setting the budget, okay, this is when it kind of gets a little bit fun, because this is gonna be very different for everyone who's running a campaign. For me personally, I like to start at $100 per day. Okay, here's the thing about Google Ads. Okay, if you are using the right bid strategy, which I'm gonna get to it in a second, the budget is just kind of like a tool for you to actually decide how much you want to spend. Because say for example, right, if your campaign is converting really well, right, and you tell Google Ads that you're willing to only pay 50 cents per click using this bid strategy called manual CPC, no matter how high your budget is, Google Ads are still not gonna be spending everything, because your budget is just basically kind of like a limit to how much you can spend. And what I'm trying to get to is that most of the time it doesn't really affect your performance that much. So you can have like a $50 budget, you can have a $100 budget, you can have like a $1,000 budget. For one, if you have like a very high budget with very limited keywords inside your campaign, Google Ads are not gonna be able to spend all your money just because people are not searching for it, so you're not gonna get any clicks. Okay, but the thing is, the cool thing about Google Ads is the budget doesn't really affect your campaign performance at all. Like very little. Like at least for me, I haven't noticed like any changes in my campaign after increasing the budget from like 1,000 to 2,000. But if you're running like Facebook ads, budget make a hell lot of difference. Someone who's running like $10 per day campaign doesn't necessarily mean that $10 campaign can be scaled into $100 per day. But with Google Ads, it's very different. Okay, so I just want to kind of like put it out there. So for the bid strategy, this is where it's actually very important. You want to click on or select a bid strategy directly, not recommended, and you want to use manual CPC. Okay, so we're gonna uncheck this. So the reason why we are setting up this way is because, like I said, if you're using maximize conversions, most of the time, if you have like a very broad keyword, Google Ads are just gonna blow your entire budget. But if you're using like a bid strategy that's called manual CPC, and here's why I really love Google Ads. This means that you can tell Google how much money you want to spend in your advertising campaign in your ad groups. So if you set your manual CPC later on to be at like 70 cents, for example, this means you're telling Google Ads like, hey Google, I'm only willing to pay 70 cents per click. Okay, so any click that is above 70 cents, I'm not gonna pay. Which means that you're literally able to decide how much is your CPC. Whereas with Facebook, that's just impossible. If you have a product with like $4 CPC, you're just messed up, you're just fucked. But with Google Ads, you can tell them like, hey, you know what, I want a 50-cent CPC, and if you can't get me that, don't spend my money. So that's a really cool and powerful thing that I love about Google Ads, and we're gonna use this to our benefit, okay? And then we are gonna, okay, let me see, show more settings. So for the conversions, you want to make sure that you set up your conversion setting to the particular conversion, tag that you have created for yourself. Make sure everything is linked correctly, which I will not, explain in this video. Probably hire like a website developer to do that for you if you don't know how to set it up yourself, or just go and Google it. You'll be able to figure it out. And then you also want to have site link extensions. This is when you can actually create like, different, I'll probably leave like a little image down here. So with site link extensions, they're really great because they increase, like I said, like your CTR, which means that if you have a campaign that is already doing well, profitable already, you're gonna be able to get more clicks for your campaign. You're gonna be able to spend more, because the thing in Google, one of the biggest limitation is the amount of money you can spend in Google is limited. Unlike Facebook, where you can, just blow so much money in one campaign, because you're telling Facebook, Facebook just literally show your ads to anyone. But with Google, your ad can only be seen by those who search from you. So this means that you wanna ideally get as much click-through as possible, as to not waste your traffic. You wanna optimize the amount of people that is searching for those keywords to hopefully, click on your ad. Every single person that search for the keywords is very important. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Hope that makes sense. If that doesn't, just leave it down in the comment section below. I'll explain to you. Next up, we're gonna click save and continue. Okay, saving. And this is when we actually start to get into the part where we are setting up what they call the ad groups. Okay, so this is basically like every single ad group that we create, we're gonna have one keyword. Okay, this is like probably the best way. I've done a lot of research. This is probably like the best way to structure our Google search campaigns. So what you want to do is, you want to, for Google Ads, right, the best kind of, okay, let me just explain to you. The best kind of keywords are the keywords that is the most relevant towards the product you're selling. Which means that right now, okay, if you are trying to sell this particular 4-hole frying pan, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? I'm asking you, answer me. What you're gonna do is you're gonna use the same exact name of the product, and then use that as a keyword, okay? And here's another thing that I want to put out there. If you're trying to run, Google, any sort of Google campaigns, you need, okay, there's no way around this. You must have this. You need this tool called Keywords Everywhere, okay? This is a tool that basically tells you how much search volume there is with a product, so you can know whether or not to use this keyword. Because the thing with Google search keywords is, if you're using a keyword with very low search volume, it's just not gonna be worth it. You want to use keywords that has at least 1,000 plus searches. At least that's what I found to have worked best for me. Okay, so a tool that you must use, I'll probably leave it in the link down below or something. Keywords Everywhere. There's no negotiation around this. You must use this. If you don't use this, you're just gonna miss out a lot of money, and you're gonna waste a lot of time trying to figure out how many searches a keyword has. So the first number one rule is to only use keywords which are the most relevant towards a product. So if you're selling a freaking handkerchief, you wanna use keywords like best handkerchief. Okay, so another thing that you can do is to also use keywords like, okay, say for example, like we say like handkerchief, right? You don't just wanna use you don't wanna use like such a direct keyword. Okay, we wanna use what they call a long tail keyword, which means that these keywords are very specific towards the product you're selling. Because here's the thing, right? If you are using a keyword called handkerchief, which has over 201,000 searches over here, what is that gonna mean? This means that the particular product that the particular keyword that you're trying to advertise for is not gonna be so specific, and the people who go onto your website are not likely to convert. So the more specific the keyword is relative to the product you're selling, the higher your conversion rate. This is why I love Google Ads so much, right? You can choose the keywords. You can get super high conversion by choosing like really smart keywords. This is so important. So instead of just using something like a frying pot, like some people might for this product, okay, we use like a 4-hole frying pot. That's one of the keywords. Instead of using like an omelette pan, we can say like a non-stick omelette pan. So this is just like how you kind of play around in Google to make sure that every single particular ad group that you create with the keyword is so specific and so targeted towards the people that you're selling to. So those people who are searching for those keywords are the most likely to go and buy from a website. So I hope this actually kind of made sense. Yeah, it better make sense because I've been speaking it for the past 2 minutes. If it doesn't make sense, I'm gonna kill myself. So the more relevant the keywords, the better, okay? And here's the thing, right? You may be wondering right now, okay, cool, Gary, how do I actually go around finding keywords for the product that I want to sell? Okay, because finding keywords is like probably like 80% of your success rate when it comes to advertising on Google. Trust me, it really is. So that's why I say you need this tool called keywords everywhere. With this tool, what you can do is, you can just search for the name of your product on Google, which is what I always do. And then, okay, so there's not much keyword. And then we'll find, normally there's gonna be like a list of suggested keywords over here, but this one I think has too little search volume. Basically, with these 2 keywords everywhere, they're gonna be recommending you the different keywords that you can use, which is what I use for my, which is what I do when I'm setting up my search campaigns. So for example, they recommended this one keyword, and then they recommended us another, but these keywords are all not really very relevant, okay? You wanna ideally use keywords that are just so specific towards the product you're selling, like a 4-hole frying pot pan for this product that we're trying to advertise for, okay? Right now, what I'm actually trying to do is I'm actually trying to find keywords that I can potentially use to sell this product, okay? So so what we can also do is we can also use like a non-stick omelette pan. I think that may work as well. Omelette pan, yes, non-stick omelette pan. So this is probably like another keyword that I'll use if I'm trying to sell this product. And then you want to find anywhere from like 5 to 10 keywords, and you want your total search volume to be at least around, anywhere above like 10,000 searches a month is good enough for the overall campaign. So your campaign is gonna be able to span at least, okay? So the way I see it, not everyone is gonna agree with me. The more search volume, the better. But you don't want to get to the point where the keywords are not specific towards the product that you're selling, which means that even though you may have a very high search volume, people who are searching for those keywords are not even interested in the product. So you want to have as much search volume as possible, which contains people whom are actually interested in the product that you're trying to sell. That's the whole goal of setting up search campaigns. That's like the one thing that you're gonna be thinking about all the time, okay? So I hope that kind of made sense when it comes to actually writing your ads and not writing your ads, finding keywords that's actually gonna be profitable for you. Because when it comes to the success with Google search campaigns, what I found personally through spending around $10,000 on search campaigns here and there is that your keywords, they're really gonna make a huge difference in whether or not your campaign is gonna convert. So it's really funny because I tested out different campaigns in my time of doing e-commerce with Google search ads. And what I found is sometimes you can have like a product that has maybe a keyword that is not so specific towards that product, and you're testing that particular keyword. You could spend maybe $300 and you're not gonna be able to get any sale. But if you found like a really good keyword by just maybe adding a word such as for example, like this 4-pan frying pot, right? Instead of just calling it like a 4-hole frying pot as one of the keywords, you can just say it best 4-hole frying pot. And just by having one word best in front of the original keyword that you want to use could make a hell of a lot of difference. Could increase your ROAS by quite a bit. So with Google search ads, the element that really impact your sales is finding the right keyword, and also making sure that the keyword has enough search volume, okay? And when it comes to finding the right keywords, right, A lot of it honestly is just like you searching around and kind of like generating ideas using, you know, the tool called keywords everywhere, and just being smart about it, you know, asking yourself like, you know, what is a keyword that could be, you know, that my, you know, potential customer could be, you know, searching for. It's really about sitting down, brainstorming yourself, asking yourself, and then just, you know, typing out random stuff from Google. And with that out of the way, I want to show you guys like how I typically set up my ad group. My, you know, basically your ad group is like, in Facebook ads it's also your ad sets, but in Google campaigns it's called ad groups. Okay, so for every keyword that we found, right, I'm gonna say that you want to have at least, you know, 5 to 10 different keywords. For each keyword you want to have a ad that is just directed towards that particular, you know, set of keywords, right? So it's like when you're setting up a, you know, when you're setting up like a, you know, Facebook ad, you have like one for like every single ad set, you're having like one interest. And with Google Ads, for every single, you know, ad group, you're having one keyword. Okay, so this is very important because this way you can see which, you know, keywords are gonna be generating the best results for your business. Okay, so in my laptop over here, I'm just gonna show you guys an example of how I set things up normally. Okay, so let's say that we're gonna use this keyword called 4-hole frying pot. And then for the default bid, which is the amount you're willing to actually, you know, pay to Google, typically because this is in, you know, Singapore dollars, it's around $1 equals to around 70 cents in US. I normally like to start around either 80 cents or like $1. A lot of times I just kind of like test out, you know, 80 cents, because with Google Ads, you know, they spend really fast. Especially if your keyword has a lot of search volume, you know, they can just blow like your budget in 2 hours and you don't get any sales. That's really frustrating. So for me, it's around 80 cents, and if you're in the United States, it's probably gonna be around, you know, 60 cents for you. And this is just kind of like how I like to set things up. And here's a very important part of the puzzle that I want to share with you. Okay, so when you're entering the keywords, you know, you'll notice that there's different match type. Okay, the first one is what they call the broad match type, followed by the phrase match, followed by the exact match. So with these three different types, you're gonna get very different kind of results. Okay, so for example, right, if you just use like a broad match type for like this, you know, for whole frying pot, right, Google is gonna show your ad to people who are searching perhaps like a completely random term with those words inside the keyword. So with a general rule of thumb, right, the way I actually set things up is I just use exact match for all my tests. Because the way I say it is, you know, if you're first testing stuff, and for me, you know, because when I started out, I didn't really want to blow my budget that quickly. I tested different stuff, it just didn't work out for me. I decided to just stick with, you know, exact match, and I just have been getting a lot better results for myself. Maybe you can test it out for yourself, but if you have a lower budget, I highly recommend you to just go with exact match, because 99% of the time you're just gonna get so much more better results, because the people whom is gonna be seeing your ad, they're searching for the exact keyword that you have placed in over here. Okay, so it's gonna look like this, right? You can see over here, and if you want to kind of understand how to, like, you know, write your ads and stuff, you can just click on learn more over here. I think Google will explain to you, but basically it's just kind of like a bracket, and this means exact keyword match. Okay, so I'm gonna click save and continue, and I'm just gonna, what's this? Okay, there's a little bit of an error. Okay, it's a really weird error, but let's say continue and discard. Let's just see. Okay, so when it comes to, you know, writing your ads, I think this is very, you know, it's quite an important piece towards getting your campaign to be profitable. But at the same time, you know, honestly, I found that it's actually a very simple thing to do. There's just like a few things that you gotta take note of. Okay, so the first thing first, you gotta obviously, you know, put your URL. So let's say that, you know, our URL is kitchengear.com/ I'm just making this up, by the way, product/frying pan. Okay, and you wanna have your main keywords in the display path. Okay, so this way, when people are searching for your product, it's gonna be bold, you know. So if your keyword is gonna be, if the keyword that they have used in the ad group is 4-hole frying pot, we're gonna just type like something like this. Okay, frying pot or frying pan, whatever it is. So this way it's gonna be bolded out, and when it's bolded out, it's gonna kind of appeal to people's eyes, and it's gonna increase your CTR. And also with the headlines and everything, you can test out, multiple headlines and kind of like see what resonates with your customers. But the first headline that you want to use, right, the one which actually convert the most is what they call the headline that matches exactly what your customer is searching for, right? So in this case, my first headline is gonna be called "For Whole Frying Pan," if that is the ad group that I'm using. And then perhaps my second headline could be like, okay, this is just like how I like to do things. It's just I'm gonna be like 50% off today, okay. And then the last one, you could also say like plus free shipping, something like this. 50% off plus free shipping today. Last one is like 30 days money back guarantee if you offer money guarantee in your business. So the first headline, I typically like to put it exactly the way my customers are searching for the product. The second one, just something like an offer to kind of like incentivize them to buy, because remember that you're competing against other people who are bidding for the same keyword. So you want yours to be kind of like stand out, and you can make yours stand out by telling them like, hey, there's a discount. And lastly, I'd like to put like a money back guarantee. But honestly, the one that is the most important, like the most important keyword, is to have the keyword. No, I'm sorry, is to have your headline as the keyword that people are searching for. So as long as you have that in mind, most of the time, your campaign is gonna work out, right? For the description, you just this one I just kind of like copy from and paste from my product page, while adding the keywords inside the description. So those words are gonna be bolded out. All right, I'm probably gonna put like a screenshot over here so you kind of like see what I mean. So with the description as well, normally I have like my description, and then I just kind of like twist the words a little bit just so that I can put in the keywords inside the description. This way it just really appears out with all these like bold letters and stuff, okay. So normally I don't really split test, to be honest. I just have like 3 headlines because I think that's like the minimum requirement to run like a search ad. I have one ad copy, and then I save it, and that's done, okay. So that is basically for just one ad group, and then you want to repeat the same process for all those like different ad groups, okay. So if you have 10 keywords that you want to test, you're gonna be setting up 10 separate ad groups with 10 separate keyword matching types, with 10 separate ads that you're gonna write up for yourself. So this is just like a picture of how I actually do things. I hope honestly, I'm still very new with this, so maybe there are parts in this video where you don't really understand. You could also leave it down in the comment section box below. I will try my best to help you out. And if you have any question at all, also just let me know as well. I'll do my best to reply to everyone. And I hope you learned something from it, and I'll see you in the next one.